Welcome to the leading podcast for long-term weight management. Subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jenny on all social media channels. You can also sign up to the newsletter to receive frequent content and tips for weight loss success.
Hey guys, welcome to the Power Over Food podcast. I am your host, Jenny McDonald. I am an eating behaviour coach and I work predominantly with professional women who are ready to realign their relationship with food and find peace not only with food but with themselves. Today's podcast is slightly different because on Saturday in my private Facebook group I ran a masterclass which was 10 steps to food freedom. Now during this class I shared lots of thoughts about the truth about weight loss and why we find it so hard to lose weight, why dieting is hard, all of the things we've got going against us. And then I shared 10 tips to help the ladies in the group move forward with their journey to food freedom. Because I got such great feedback and it's being taken down this weekend from the Facebook group, so the ladies have had a week to watch it, it just felt wrong to just scrap it. So what I decided to do was I've edited because it was 90 minutes long, which is obviously a huge amount of content for you to listen to on a podcast. I've edited this so that you have just got the 10 steps and I'll explain, or you'll hear me explain as I go through those 10 steps and how you can put them into practice, and also why those steps are important, because it's no good me saying you need to be aware, you need to journal, you need to know why. How does that help you? So here we go. Here are your 10 steps to food freedom. I hope you enjoy. So step 1, have a clear focus. And what I mean by this is, why do you want to lose weight? Okay, why do you want to have a better relationship with food? Now, you need to have a big enough motivation. And when you find this, it becomes easier. And what I do in the first session with all my clients is I help them to dig and find what we call the why under the why. This is what I call your big motivating factor. Okay, so the goal sometimes isn't weight loss. We think it is. We think if we lose weight, we are going to get different outcomes, but that's not always the case. For example, sometimes we think when I lose weight, I'll feel better. I'll become more confident. Okay, great. So you're going to be more confident. So what difference does that make to your life? Well, I will feel more confident in my job. Okay, so you're not confident in your job. Well, no, I don't actually like my job. Okay, so you don't like your job. No, actually, if I lost weight, I'd feel more confident to go and get a new job. Okay, so you think that if you lose weight, you're more confident, you go out and get a new job. So actually what this lady wants is to go and get a new job, but she feels that she needs to lose weight to do that. So whilst we can work on the weight loss, we can also work on what's going on in her job that is not satisfying her, because the chances are she hates her job and she's coming home and feeling rubbish every night, then that's going to lead to her eating. So there's often more going on than just wanting to lose weight. So have a clear focus. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want a better relationship with food? What difference is it going to make to your life? Okay. Another example is, I was working with a lady a couple of years ago. She said, if I lose weight, my husband will pay me more attention. Okay. When we worked on it, the weight wasn't the issue. Her husband loved her whatever size she was. It wasn't about her losing weight. That helped her confidence. That helped her feel more attractive. But maybe there was other things that, they just needed to work on. Maybe her husband's just been really busy and bogged down with work. Maybe there's other stuff happening, and actually they just need to focus and communicate with each other. But we put it down to our weight. So what is your why? Oh, that's interesting. Sarah says she feels like I will be a better person. So in what way would you be a better person? How does being 2 stone lighter make you a better person? In what way do you need to be a better person? Because again, if you're thinking I'd be a better mum, or I'd be better at my job, or I'd be better around the house, I would be able to do more, then if you start putting those things in place at the same time, again, you're changing everything that you want to change. So just going back, having a clear focus, what is your real reason why? Keep digging, keep asking yourself, what if I had that, what does that mean? What does that look like? And try and find the why under the why. That is your big motivating factor. Number 2, self-love. Oh my goodness, this is a biggie. We struggle with this one, don't we, ladies? Okay, so make friends with yourself. Don't start your journey from a frustrated, angry place. You won't get far. You won't, okay? Accept that you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. Whatever has led you to the point, whatever life has thrown at you, whatever you've learned, you cannot change that. We cannot go back in time. So we need to accept it. We need to be okay with it. And I know this can be difficult, but this is 100% an important step if you haven't already done this. I need you to let go of any anger, any frustration, and make friends with yourself. What are you willing to do? What efforts are you willing to put in? And we'll come to that in a moment, because I'm going to move on to point 3, awareness. Okay. I need you to become more aware of who you really are and your relationship with food. Who are you? What are you here for? Yeah. What do you want out of life? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What holds you back? What is holding you back right now? Most people are faffing around with life. They're in a 9-to-5 job that they don't particularly like, and they are eating their way through the pain and discomfort. When I work with my clients, for most of them, not all, but many, they soon realize this relationship with food is not the problem. It's life. It's the different area of their life that they are just not satisfied in. And once they make the tweaks, the whole food thing becomes so much easier. So get aware. And how do you become aware? Use a journal, meditate. I'm always talking about journaling every day, just 5 minutes a day. Learn to meditate, just sit with your thoughts, okay? It is honestly becoming aware and working out what you're not happy with, and making those changes is extremely powerful. Number 4, let's move on to number 4. Get real. And what do I mean by this? I know you might want weight loss immediately. I know you might want that peaceful relationship with food immediately. Of course you do. We all do. But we need to be patient. So stop setting unrealistic expectations. Don't think that you will start today or tomorrow or Monday, because Monday's start diet day, isn't it? Don't think you're going to start this new journey and you are never going to overindulge again. I lost my weight. I started on this journey in 2004, and I still went on holiday a few weeks back and ate and came home feeling rubbish because I'd ate way too much. What's the difference now? The difference is I have no expectations of myself. I don't set unrealistic expectations of going on holiday and not enjoying the alcohol and the food. I go with an open mind and I do what I do. And I don't beat myself up about that. I just come home and get back into my normal pattern. being realistic with yourself. Don't set yourself a goal of, I've got to lose 2 stone in 2 months. Whilst that is possible on a very low calorie diet, and I know some of you are following a very low calorie diet, yes, it is possible, but there are often bumps in the road. And what happens is when we set these really, really tight goals and we don't achieve them, then we get really, really disheartened and we're likely to just fall off the wagon. Be realistic. This is a lifelong journey. Having a peaceful relationship with food is forever. It's not for a wedding. It's not for Christmas. It's not for your next holiday. It is forever. And when you accept that it takes time to work through that tricky relationship with food, there are often years of behavior that you are trying to change and that you will occasionally fall back into old habits, then it goes a long way. It goes back to number 2, making friends with yourself. Okay. You are exactly where you are meant to be right now. That is one of my favorite sayings. Right. Number 5, be honest. Okay. What I mean by this is, what are you prepared to do? Okay. There is no point committing to something you don't really want to do, because all you're going to do is set yourself up for failure. When I ran my ladies groups in Lighter Life, when I did my introductory session, I always said, if you are approaching this with you have to, or you'll try, then maybe it isn't for you. If you are starting something, if you are joining a slimming club and you are thinking, this probably won't work, I probably won't stick to it, but I'll give it a go, then don't bother. Don't set yourself up for another disappointing moment with weight loss. Think about it. What are you prepared to do? You need to be starting with, I am prepared to do journaling every day. I am willing to become more aware with meditating. Okay. What are you prepared to do? What are you willing to do? And really, really importantly, what are you not willing to do? Like sometimes on my first one-to-one coaching calls, people say, before we start, I'm not giving up chocolate. Okay. And that's absolutely fine. I never ask any of my clients to give up chocolate or any food. It is, what are you prepared to do? And just while I'm on this, I'm very conscious that there's a couple of you watching who work with me with the one-to-one diet, which is a very low calorie diet. It's a meal replacement diet. And I know that sometimes when I talk, you might be thinking, this is kind of jarring for me. And the reason I chose to stay with the one-to-one diet is because I do believe that very low calorie diets have a place for people that are where I was and literally need that break from food. They just need to take food out of the equation to reset and then have that clear relationship with food where they can slowly introduce the food again and get to a better place with food. However, I am really honest with clients that if they come back, that might not always be the answer second time round. And what I encourage is this developing that relationship with yourself instead of just relying on a meal replacement to get you back to where you want to be. Okay. I just wanted to acknowledge that because I know there's a few of you watching who do work with me on the one-to-one diet. Okay. So what are you prepared to do? Right now, this is my favorite saying, this next one. Get curious, okay? You need to get curious about food and yourself, okay? Think about your body. It's like a science experiment, yeah? How does different food make you feel? What food gives you energy, yeah? What food lights you up? What do you like about food? Do you like cooking? Do you like quick, easy, ready meals? Yeah. Well, get curious about it all. Think about your relationship with food. What foods do you like eating? Not what foods you should eat. What do you like? What do you enjoy? What foods nourish you? And then be curious about which foods link with which emotional eating. Okay. Think about, whenever I'm poorly, I always think soup is the answer. Now, the doctor wouldn't prescribe me soup, okay? The doctor would prescribe me whatever medication I needed. But what's ingrained in me is soup makes me feel better. And I've got a really strong memory of my dad making tomato soup when I was really poorly. Okay, so all of our food, it has links, it has connections that make us feel all warm and fuzzy. So get in touch with those connections, and also let go of ones that are not helpful. If your connection is, if you think about a child falling over and crying and they're hurt, and we scoop them up and we might say, come on, let's go and get you a biscuit. That child really early on, 3 years old, learns, food will stop me crying. Food makes everything okay. Now, if you've got that connection with food, be curious about it. That's really, really interesting. But then also work on, being a bit kind of like, well, that might have helped in that moment, but does food really make me feel better? Because actually, food is might have made me feel better in that moment, but if you're eating food and then it makes you feel rubbish after, then clearly it doesn't make you feel better. Yeah, what happens is it's like instant gratification. It's like a quick fix, but then we feel rubbish after. So it's trying to almost kind of get interested with that relationship and start to learn to think ahead and go, gosh, look, here I am standing with the biscuit barrel. Wow, because I think this is going to make me feel better, because I've learned from years of behaviour that food is the answer. But actually what I'm learning now is that only makes me feel better for 30 seconds. So is there something else I can do? Yeah, it's all about like getting to know yourself and getting in touch with yourself so you can start to tweak things. Okay, get off the blood sugar roller coaster when you're being curious. What foods are giving you those highs and lows? What if you find that you can actually eat differently and still lose weight without dieting? Imagine, just get curious about that. Could I actually eat and lose weight without dieting? Number 7, okay, evaluate without judgment. And what I mean by this, okay, is start being curious about your food without judging yourself. I invite you to go in your cupboards this afternoon or over the weekend and your freezer and read all of the labels and evaluate what you are eating. But I want you to do this without judging yourself, okay? We all live busy lives. We all have the go-to easy foods that we feed our family, and that's okay. But what we want to do is start to work towards a chemical-free diet as much as possible. And I say as much as possible because it's not just as easy as, oh, well, that's it, I'll just eat fresh food from tomorrow and I'll never eat anything that's out of a packet. But if you imagine Farmer Giles is over here, and Farmer Giles likes to eat everything that he has grown or reared on his farm. Okay, and then over here we've got the processed hot dog. Okay, the ones out of the tin that gosh knows what they put in them, and I'm sure there's probably even worse foods than that. Okay, another one is like a American Twinkie. It's like, oh, what? Yeah, just full of processed stuff. And what I've realized is some of this food is like really low calories, like tinned hot dog sausages. I didn't realize how low in calories some of them are. So people on Slimming World and things are eating these because it's like, oh yeah, they're really low calories, I can have 4 of them. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to get closer to Farmer Giles, okay? So if you are eating lots of things with long use by dates on, it is likely that they have a lot of chemicals to make them last longer or to make them taste good. And if you are looking at labels and you read the ingredients list and you either don't know what it is or you can't pronounce it, then that is where you might think, could I make something similar myself? Maybe you can batch cook the sauce and get it out of the freezer rather than eating this highly produced, processed chemical stuff. Okay. And this is really, really hard to do. And I'm still working on this one, because on a perfect week when everything goes to plan and we've got time to cook and prepare and everything else, that's great. But quite often we are eating in a rush. We've got so much of the pressures, and also it's your situation, the finances, how many people you've got to cook for, what other people like to eat, and everything else. But I promise you, when you start eating foods that are not full of rubbish, it's a game changer. It really is. Foods are more satisfying. You will stay satisfied for longer, and it will change everything for the whole family as well, if you can help them to change things. So without judgment, start looking at what you are actually eating. Number 8, create an inner peace. Okay. What can you do to help yourself lower your stress levels? Now, think back to that thoughts, feelings, behavior. And when you are stressed, check in. What are you thinking that is perpetuating this stress? Okay. Simple example here is being late for work. Okay. When I am going somewhere and I'm late, I panic and I get myself stressed. Now, the thoughts that are allowing my feelings to become stressed is, well, if I'm honest, they're pretty unrealistic, because what my thoughts are: that person won't like me. They'll think I'm unreliable. They probably won't want to meet me again. They'll think I'm flaky. They might hate me. And it's just all of these silly things. And if we're going to work, it's like, they're going to think I'm always late. I might get the sack. They're going to think I'm no good at my job. Okay. Whoa. Let's just rewind those thoughts. If we are in a logical, balanced state with our thoughts, the reality is, I'm late because of whatever's happened. Let's imagine we're sitting in a traffic jam. I am late. I'm in a traffic jam. There's been an accident. This is completely out of my control. I cannot change the situation. I can only manage the situation. And what I can do is phone ahead, leave a message, explain the situation. And by doing that, that calms that inner critic, that calms that sloth brain that's telling you that, you should have left earlier, you should have done this, you should have done that, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So it really is about trying to work with your thoughts to lower your stress. And then think about, what other simple things can you do to lower your stress? Keeping a journal helps you to lower your stress levels. Putting boundaries in place so that you are not constantly saying yes to things that you haven't got time to do, and then you're stressing out because you haven't got time. And here's a nice little one to do. And I've been doing this. I don't know if I've got mine here. No, but get a post-it and write on it, no expectations. And put one in your car, put one at your desk, put one in your fridge, anywhere you want, no expectations. And this week, I invite you to live your life without expectations. And what I mean by that is, we go into so many situations with an expected outcome. And then when it doesn't pan out how we expect it, we get stressed, we get frustrated. So how about we live our life without expectations? How about you step on the scales if you are weighing without any expectations? How about you go for a meal or to meet your friend, or you go to work without expectations? Imagine how differently the outcome of your day could be if you live this week with no expectations. Practice gratitude. When we focus on what is good, it allows us to stop focusing on the bad. Right, we're nearly there. Number 9. Now, I've got a confession. Number 9 is 2, because I wanted to keep it 10 and I kept adding more in. So number 9 is get in balance. And what I mean by this is water and movement, okay? And I call it movement. I don't like to call it exercise. So first of all, water. Do you drink enough water? Now, be honest with yourself. Do you drink enough water? The NHS recommends around 8 glasses a day. In America, they have a way of working it out on body weight to how many ounces of water, so how many pounds to how many ounces. But realistically, we need to be drinking a good amount of water. And you can Google how much water does my body need depending on your weight. So I often give people around the 2 litres to aim for, but it's good to Google it depending on your weight, because actually when I was nearly 18 stone, I needed kind of more like 5 to 6 litres of water compared to being the weight I am now. Great work if you know you don't need enough water and you've bought a water bottle, brilliant. If you do drink a good amount of water, that is brilliant. If you are not used to drinking a lot of water, then start small. Don't just think, right, today I've got to drink 2 litres. Build up to it. Set yourself a week or 2 weeks to get there, and then set yourself little targets. When I first started increasing my water, I kind of made a deal with myself that I would drink a certain amount by 10 o'clock in the morning and then a certain amount by 12 or 1 o'clock. So I could build up throughout the day, because normally what happens is if you don't really drink water, you're sitting with your water bottle on your desk all day and it's still full at the end of the day. So set an alarm on your phone, have a tally sheet in your journal that you tick when you've drank. Just put things in place to make sure you are drinking enough water. And the second thing about getting in balance is your movement. Now, going back to the blood sugar roller coaster, there's 7 steps to helping you with your blood sugar roller coaster. And 1 step is water and 1 step is moving more. And that's why I wanted to add these in, along with the different types of food you're eating, to help you get your energy levels in balance. So when I talk about movement, I don't want you to suddenly think, oh, I've got to exercise. I want you to think about when you're moving. If you were moving, what movement would you enjoy? You might really enjoy walking. You might enjoy putting some music on and dancing around the kitchen. Or another good question to ask yourself is, what movement did you enjoy as a child? And I did this a few months back. You might have seen it on my social. And I remember roller skating, so I bought some roller skates and I'm trying to learn to roller skate now. It's not going very well, I must admit. But I also enjoyed swimming. So they're things that I like doing and I feel good doing. I don't feel good going to the gym, so I don't go to the gym. So it is, what do you enjoy doing? And I've recently discovered muscles and weight training, and that's really interesting me because I'm interested in how my body is working with that. So rather than feeling that you should exercise, what movement makes you happy? Number 10, the secret to staying on track. Okay, this is accountability. When we are being observed, or we have to prove to someone else what we are doing, we perform better. Okay, when we are accountable, we perform better. How many of you have been to a weekly weighing group? How many of you said, oh, if it wasn't for going there, I wouldn't have stuck to it? Yeah, we perform better. So it's not a bad thing to have that accountability, but it's also, the other secret is support. So support and accountability. What I mean by that is, we always tell ourselves we should be able to do this. Yeah, the amount of ladies I work with, and they're like, do you know what, Jenny? I'm an intelligent woman. I've got a really good job. I run a home. I've got a family. I'm really intelligible. I know what to do in every other area in my life. And yet, why can't I get a grip on this? And it's like, we tell ourselves we're meant to be able to sort it out. We're meant to be able to do it alone. But we have grown up in a world that's food options have rapidly expanded. The media have bombarded us with messages about size, about shape, about what's acceptable. And then we've listened to 100 different diet theories. And then we tell ourselves that we should be able to do it. So my top tip, this secret, is get yourself an accountability partner. Work with somebody that's going to keep you on track, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a family member, a coach. Work with someone that is going to support you on this journey, and choose wisely. There is no point working with your best friend who will encourage you to go and eat at every given moment, because actually she's quite happy for you to stay the way you are. Or maybe she just thinks food does make you happy and you're just being silly with the whole thing. Choose somebody that is going to hold you accountable, that is going to challenge you when you start wavering and when you have them bumps in the road. Now, I know I have bombarded you with 10 things. So I want to say, don't get overwhelmed. Focus on 1 or 2. don't think you've got to change everything. Just choose one or two to focus on. And if you've got the handout, I've broken it into the next few weeks so that you can focus on one or two each week. So that was 10 steps to food freedom. I hope you enjoyed that from the masterclass. Sorry if there was any little rough bits. Obviously it was a live masterclass that I'm sharing with you. And all that's left for me to say is have a fantastic week. Please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, on Facebook. If you are not part of the Facebook group, please come over and join. If you're not on Facebook, check out my YouTube channel. And if you do feel that these podcasts are resonating with you, and if you're still listening, and if you're listening after 20 something episodes, then hopefully you do, please could you leave me a review? It would mean the world to me. And if you can share this with anybody that you know has a tricky relationship with food and you just think it may resonate with them, then please pass it on or share it on Instagram or on your Facebook page. Don't forget to tag me. And that would just mean the world to me, because I am working so hard to spread my message and to offer as much as I can, as much value as I can to people's lives who struggle like I have for many years, that I just want to reach as many people as possible. So thank you so much. Have a brilliant day, evening, whenever you are listening, and I will speak to you all soon.